So to answer the question, why should people vote for me? Yeah, that one's pretty easy. I think Shahid and I are pretty much aligned politically on what needs to be done. I'm a little bit more focused on money, the universal basic income platform. Money solves
Okay,
100%.
Bianca, I've got to pause. Your voice is cutting in and out. I don't know what it is.
Oh yeah, that's a crappy internet connection. I apologize. Let me see if
Okay,
I can
yeah,
reroute.
if you can move closer to the router, or maybe shift to your phone. Really want to hear every word you're saying.
Yeah, or alternatively, even just speak a slightly bit slower, and I think I can probably catch most. I was catching most of what you were saying there.
Yeah, but I want listeners to hear it.
Of course. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So take your time, Bianca. I want to make sure it really gets improved there. I'll restart the timer.
Oh, thank you. Okay. If I'm being cut off, then maybe just somebody like make an X with their with arms.
Okay, keep talking. It's cutting in and out. About 10-20% is
It
cutting
still
out.
is. Oh my
Yeah.
God, this is terrible.
If you speak a little louder, I think it'll be clearer, and you're near the microphone. And then
Yeah.
try to get near your Wi-Fi router or whatever it is, and or be try to definitely want to hear every word.
This might take some time.
Yeah, it's still cutting out.
Well, maybe while you're doing that, just to speak back what I heard you say that you, you feel like we're generally aligned on some of the ideas in terms of responding to our social crises, and that you were very focused on a universal basic income program. But I think that was where.
Guys, is there a telephonic
Is there a
There must
telephonic?
be there would have to be an
calling?
equivalent in the Zoom meeting information.
Yes. Let me pull that up. Hmm. One moment. Do you have, no, I don't actually, there is not a telephone number for this particular meeting room.
Hmm.
Um, but if you just connect to Zoom on your smartphone, that might
Is
work.
Can I call in? Is there a call in number on this one?
No, there's no call-in number for this one.
Well, we
Damn it.
tried with Mike, Bianca, if it helps, because he had some Wi-Fi issues. We just turned off his Wi-Fi connection, so he connected off with the cell network, and that seemed to improve his signal strength.
Yeah, let me try that.
Yeah, yeah, that's.
This is also a good indication of why we need better broadband infrastructure in this country. But
Thank you.
another thing we agree about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Talk while I for an interlude. So we don't have dead air.
Yeah, no,
I,
don't worry. Everything's on pause. We're just working it through.
we were just reflecting before you joined about the value of silence, so it's.
It's
Yeah,
true.
that's Depeche Mode. We all love it. What's the hotspot there?
Yeah, this is a real Quaker meeting, isn't it?
I love it. You sit together in silence till something speaks through someone, and then they'll rise with that the force of that clarity, right? And hearing that as a voice of the divine, or at least coming through us as far as possible. It's the best I understand. Some that basic Quaker meeting process.
Yeah.
Holding space is a profound act.
Mm-hmm.
I think people are used to it happening rarely in groups. Like people will, close friends will hold space for each other.
Mm-hmm.
People who are supportive of each other, will hold space for each other, but for groups to hold space for people is a particularly, I think, powerful thing, experience to see.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I switched over to my houses.
Okay, I heard some background noise. Can you keep talking for a second, Bianca? We'll do a sound check.
Yeah, I'm kind of in a weird location. Yeah, is it okay now? Is it coming in okay?
Yeah, if you keep talking for another 30 seconds, tell us a fun story or sing a song, that would be great.
I won't sing unless you want to torture like, North Korean or something like
Okay.
that. I feel like we were hearkening back to the days of "Can you hear me now?" and those terrible.
Okay. Okay. So Bianca, what helps most for your voice to come through is that you're near the mic, right next to the microphone, and you're speaking a little bit louder. That's
A little bit louder. It's just good. I'm seeing a good. Yeah, I'm seeing a pretty strong ping timing on my thing. It's about in the two digits of milliseconds. Okay.
Yep. So now you got it. Yeah. Speaking at that level consistently all the way through. Let's go for it. Now we're going to start again.
All right.
What I'm going to invite you to do is, of course, answer the question or whatever's on your mind and heart, and consider answering the question, why should people vote for me? I'll start the timer for 5 minutes. You're speaking to Shahid, and we'll go from there.
All right. So I like I said, money is paramount. Money solves 100% of socioeconomic problems, and that's what everything else is comfort politics. Renaming schools, pulling down statues, all that stuff. It's nice, but it's just ultimately a waste of time and a distraction. What we really need to do is give people serious help. Nobody wants to have a rationality for racism. That's an academic concept. People of color who are disenfranchised want serious help. They want economic help. And that's
Bianca, I'm
not again.
No, you sound great. And I'm just pause. I want to ask you to pause and give Shahid a chance to catch that. See if he got that loud and clear. Okay.
Okay.
What I hear you saying, Bianca, is that there's a lot of kind of performative distraction, and you mentioned like pulling down monuments, I think, and contrasting that with the material outcomes and the need for resources, ultimately money, to hit the ground, and particularly in communities of color you named, and how resources and money are the solution to many of the crises that our communities face. Did I get some of that right?
Yeah, all of it. And that wasn't projected to you, really. But, I would say, I'm going to be brutal right now. Every woman that we talk to who knows, Shahid's name, unfortunately, is not going to vote for him. And whether or not that's justified or not, another matter. But voters in the city are women, and 40% of the voters are LGBT, and we tend to stick to our own. And as a transgender woman, well, we draw our own conclusions from that. But
what I hear you saying is that that there's a large percentage of the voters that are women and trans folks, and that my character assassination was widely internalized by some of those folks, and that you feel like among some of the women you've talked to, there's a reticence to vote for me on account of some of the disinformation that we confronted in 2020.
Yeah, whether it's disinformation or information, I mean, I empathize with you, man. Media garbage. The media garbage. Prop the frontline piece, which I thought was totally biased. That was a huge accomplishment. Making it general election.
Okay, so Bianca, I want to pause you. You're cutting in and out again, so there may be a way to speak a little slower, but repeat that again, what you just said, so it comes through really clearly for listeners. Go ahead.
Oh God! All right, let's see if I can pull it back together again. I wish I was a TiVo. Let's see. Like Whether or not it's information or disinformation, I can't say. But what I do know is that the media is garbage. The media is not being fair. Frontline piece was garbage. I was extremely disappointed in PBS and the Frontline for not giving you props for your accomplishment in making it to the general election. I think that's unparalleled, and that should have been mentioned, and it wasn't. And it was very disappointing, and it was. Excuse me, I have another interruption.
When you're ready, I can speak back just to make sure I'm getting it. Should I restate, Bianca, what you were saying?
No,
just to make
not
sure
yet, not yet. Wait till she comes back, and I think she had a distraction.
Okay.
I apologize for that.
No worries. Should I restate what you were saying just to make sure I was getting it?
If you like.
So I heard you saying that the media is garbage. That there is the frontline piece exploring Nancy Pelosi's career was particularly emblematic of the media being garbage and its failure to fairly depict her history, or for instance the fact that she faced another Democrat in the general election and in 2020 for the first time.
And also I've been calling them out, certain players, and we all see the Christine nonsense, and I call that candidate seeding, and I think it's wrong. And I be sure to mention those people to the Pulitzer Prize committee, as well as because I'm an actress, I'm also on the board of the Emmys. Those people should not be given awards. Okay, because they're clearly seeding things. Whenever they say there's reports of this and that, I basically assume they're just making that up.
I hear you saying that the journalists are playing a game in planting suggestions in the electorate about people to follow Nancy Pelosi, presuming that she would retire at her own choice, and that the particular reports about her daughter being her successor are especially offensive, both in, well, I'll just say it's particularly offensive. And you were noting how they were offensive in planting the seed and steering the ship more than reporting the facts. Did I get some of that right?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Bianca. That's 5 minutes.
Oh, really? I
yeah.
have more to say. Oh,
I know. No, we're gonna do one more round after this.
Okay.
So what I want to do is Shahid now has listened, so now he's getting a chance to pick you or either of us to answer the question. Why should folks vote for me, or whatever's on your mind and heart. So in this format, Shahid, of course, please share whatever's real for you. But first, choose somebody to listen and summarize if you'd like to.
Thanks, Timothy. Bianca, if you're willing, I'd love to speak to you.
Yep.
Cheers. So yeah, going to the prompt that Timothy offered in terms of why I would invite folks to vote for me. I see a lot of folks in 2022 coming to an awareness of our social crises, whether it's money in politics, whether it's human rights abuses, the international belligerence of our military industrial complex, the climate crisis. These crises are growing inescapably obvious to a great many people, and I offer myself as a voice for the city because I've spent 20 years fighting those issues from San Francisco to Washington. I can pause there.
That was nice. That was great.
Okay, so Bianca, your reflection of that, just to help Shahid know he's been heard.
He is offering himself as a voice in the political landscape for the last 20 years. How's that?
Yeah, right on. That's fair. And as I look back on that history and the challenges that we're confronting today, the pieces of my history that I feel like were most emblematic of what I would like to do for the city going forward were fighting for marriage equality in 2004, long before Democrats were willing to stand for the rights of our neighbors, and fighting the surveillance state in the 15 years after that, and putting in place the first restrictions on it across the country. Those were sort of two examples of my advocacy that I offer as sort of examples, receipts, perhaps.
The surveillance state is bad. I mean, I couldn't agree with that more.
Okay, Bianca, just in this setting, do your best to just summarize what Shahid's trying to put out there in terms of how you understand it. He gave some examples. How else would you just kind of summarize that to say, okay, yeah, from your perspective, this is what I heard. Go ahead, Bianca, from your.
Well, yeah, I mean, I heard that
Good.
there's a lot of corruption within the Democratic Party. And believe me, I have lived that too.
Hold on, Bianca, not about you. Just what is Shahid saying right now for,
okay,
from his perspective?
Corruption in the Democratic Party and the surveillance state as an outcropping of that.
Yeah, the one piece maybe that's just not getting across, but in terms of just wanting to make sure it's heard, is just the advocacy for LGBT communities, starting in an era long before Democrats were willing to stand for our neighbors.
Sticking up for LGBT communities before others would.
Yeah, thanks for that. And the other thought I'd have here, just in terms of the offering that we present the city, is just the voice of someone who's had the chance, and I say this, with tongue in cheek, but the chance to experience the bottom of the boot. When my family lost our home when I was 16, that it was the last thing I would have chosen. I would never wish it on anyone, and I learned a great deal from it. And to have had the chance to struggle for 10 years to get my undergrad degree, to have the chance to struggle through character assassination, our struggles, I think, forge us into stronger steel. And, I've had the chance to be put through, for better or worse, more than a few fires.
Is it my turn?
No, so we have about a minute left in Shahid's time. So
I need to respond to or to show up.
Yeah. So you just summarize what you hear him trying to get across there.
His struggles are painful, and he would not wish them on others, but they have made him stronger all the more for it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Bianca. Yeah, that's perfect. I think Timothy, we had time.
But also, Bianca, I want you to catch what those examples he actually gave. I want to make sure that those are heard too. So
yeah, his family lost his home. I lost my home during the campaign too. I mean, not that he lost his home during the campaign, but I lost my home too.
Got it. So yeah, you heard that as an example. Yeah. Okay. So Shahid, do you feel heard there? Anything else you want to make sure is understood, or?
No, I feel fully heard.
Okay,
thank you, Bianca.
Cool. Right on. And thank you, Bianca, for diving into this process. We appreciate that. Okay, so what I'd like to do, since we're focusing on your experience, both of you being able to be heard fully and equally in this particular format, I'd like you to go ahead, Bianca, and you can speak to any of us to be heard for 5 minutes on whatever's on your mind or heart, or why people should vote for you. So you pick one of us, and then you can go from there.
Can I pick all of you?
In this method, you pick one, but if like that one person is not hearing you, we'll get some help from others. So make sure you're heard. How's that sound?
All right. Well, I'll still stick with Buttar because we're the only principals in the election.
Perfect.
So yeah, I don't want to make it about identity politics, but I would be the first congresswoman in the world, in the United States.
I'm sorry, your voice broke up there. Can you repeat that again? You would be the first
transgender congresswoman in the United States. As we all know, that was something Pelosi robbed from the nation her first time around, running against a gay county supervisor named Harry Britt. But but
I heard you noting that you'd be the first trans member of Congress in the country,
yeah,
and that was something our community's been denied in the past.
yeah, not just our community, but the LGBT community worldwide, in the nation. I've said many times that we need actual enforcement of civil protections that we have. You know, if we need what I call 911 service of injustice, a 911 number that you can call and get help, and somebody can come down, take your information, investigate it, prosecute it, and provide some sort of a remedy. We really don't have anything close to that. But more.
Can I pause there just to make sure I'm hearing you?
Go
You're
ahead.
describing
Yeah, I paused it. Yeah.
No, yeah. I heard you describing a vision for a like a rapid response justice line where people can call and seek help for challenges needing resolution.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And because I believe fervently that government should be proactive in things like, you know, why don't we have like 911 dials, you know, connects you via Skype to an ER doctor or something like that, so you can give it, you know, assistance to people on the street. You know, there's a whole host. You know, why can't we use drones to direct traffic so that, you know, emergency vehicles can get quick access to sites quicker? You know, they're not thinking this way. Government reacts. It's not proactive. It's reactive. And it's mostly about putting out fires instead of just, you know, pruning the forest before it becomes dangerous to begin with.
I hear you describing government responding only to crises rather than preventing them, and sort of being behind the ball in terms of implementing opportunities for technology to better accentuate not just social services, but like core things. You know, you noted drones facilitating traffic enforcement. You had another example that's slipping. I want to make sure I grip.
Skyping directly to an
right.
ER doctor.
ER doctors. Right. Yeah, so leveraging technology in government to better address core functions that are failing. Yeah.
But,
did I get that right?
You did. You know, one more thing I would like to direct, that, you know, like Shahid said, he's a voice in the community for about 20 years. I'm a relative newcomer. I'm a national name, but not in a political sphere. And
hold on. You that last piece. You're a national name, but go ahead. Just go from there.
But not in political spheres. You know, I'm in the entertainment world, and before that, I was in engineering. But I don't want a career change. I want this job. Shahid wants his career, and that's nice and everything. But what he has to do to align himself with that would make him a less desirable candidate than it would I. What I mean by that is, I don't give a crap about making friends in Congress or having long-term relationships. I said it in the ballot, and I'm emphasizing it now. I'm either going to come there and accomplish what I set out to do, or I'm going to find the assholes who are holding us back, the Kristen Sinema, the minutiae. And you know, and thanks to Buttar, we found about Kuilar. Let's find those people out, let's suss them out, and let's nail them and get them out of there. This is why they've been avoiding the pro-choice vote for 50 years, because they've been afraid of this exact kind of thing. And Pelosi has shown her colors in this respect. In this, I told the Trump White House, this is how you nail her the first time around. It happened during the budget debate. Remember that?
Hold on. This is how you what?
This is how I told Trump how to bust Pelosi the first time around, and he used it, and that's what happened. During the last budget debate, before he left office, he upped her offer, and she turned him down. I told him to do that. I told him she would show her true colors. She didn't want to have the budget passed. She didn't care about the people that needed that money. She cared about, making this man look like a jackass. And
Okay,
he does that just fine on his own.
okay, I'm going to pause you there, Bianca, because the time's up. And I
Thank
want to
you.
make sure that Shahid catches you there. So go ahead, Shahid.
Yeah, I heard you saying, Bianca, that the sort of the difference between going to Washington to make friends versus going to Washington to expose the people who are impeding the policy vision that that you propose, and you sort of mentioned like the Kristen Sinema, Joe Manchin, sort of as the obstacles to be removed. There was definitely more there. I'm trying to grip.
No, I'm impressed you got that much. That was quite a rant I went on.
Oh, good.
Hey, okay, good. So you got that much, and then there may be others, but in this moment, Bianca, do you feel fully heard for what you've been able to say?
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, so now we're moving towards the end of our time. Shahid, we're going to give you another chance to speak. You could speak to Bianca again or any of us for 5 minutes on the topic of why people should vote for you, and or anything else that's on your mind and heart in this moment. So
Right
go
on.
ahead and choose a listener if you like, and we'll go from there.
I'll speak to Bianca if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
And I'll sort of, reiterate where we started, is this gratitude for the forum. I'm really grateful that you're here, and to the folks who brought us together to have an exchange that centers our respective perspectives rather than potential differences between them.
And I see Bianca in the chat saying agreed. So Bianca, how would you reflect that back? What Shahid just said from his perspective? How would you say that back?
He appreciates the forum. I appreciate the forum too. This is a great start. I'd love to have a lot more of these.
Another piece I'd throw out there, this is a little bit less on the whole race, but just reflecting on the format and the discourse. Timothy, maybe half an hour ago, had reflected on what it might look like for someone in office to use a forum like this. And I just figured I'd throw this in the mix. There's a scholar, James Fishkin, who taught at different points at the University of Texas. I think he was at Stanford at some point, and maybe now, but he pioneered this model called deliberative democracy, which is it's not unlike this forum. If you imagine, for instance, to the extent the Empathy Circle aims to embody this sort of nonviolent communication and active listening, their deliberative democracy aims sort of similarly to get past the top line talking points that people offer. And so it's sort of like, to the extent maybe one contrast we might offer to what we're doing now is like polling. Polling is sort of a really reductive, simple way that people try to detect what the public thinks. This is a more kind of like engaged way, to help see what people think. Deliberative democracy are like weekend-long sessions, kind of like mini conventions, but almost like mini legislatures where the participants are drawn from across civil society. They have almost like town halls where issue-focused explorations with voices from different sides of debate. So they basically get to hear the pros and cons of different contested propositions. And then they often will have votes at the end. And one of the things that the scholars, including Fishkin, have documented is that people at least emerge from those processes with a great deal more understanding of nuance. And it seems at least to enable better decision making in those kinds of bodies. Now, I don't think anything like this has been tried in a bigger scale, but there are at least efforts, I think, to try to emulate better listening in politics, and we've seen some of them bear some fruit.
Okay, that was a lot, Bianca. How would you distill some of that to let Shahid?
I would say more comprehensive discourse and scope to empower the voter. How's that?
Right on. Elegantly said. Well said. Thank you. I feel fully heard.
Okay, but Shahid, you've got another minute and a half, a little over that. So I'd love for you to continue, answer the question or anything else you'd like to express right now to Bianca.
I see the future at risk of being run off a climate cliff. I see capitalists with their hands around the throat of an entire planet and its capacity to support life. I see not just in Washington, but particularly our city's voice in Washington, support for Wall Street and the Pentagon before human rights. before climate justice, before our neighbors and their needs. And ultimately, that's why I'm here, and would hope to do everything I can to be helpful on our city's behalf.
Yeah, that cuts right to my humors. Look, I can't regurgitate what you said back, but I feel the same way. Okay, I feel a step further. I feel like we're on the precipice of civil war if things don't change.
Okay, now, Bianca, I'm going to pause you there.
Sorry, I know I go off.
No, Bianca, we love to hear exactly how you feel. And in this moment, it's just, I know it's hard, but catching Shahid for what he's saying and pointing to from his perspective. And then
he's saying this shit doesn't work. Right?
Fairly said. I'll take
this
that.
This doesn't work. This doesn't work. We have to change things. This kind of trickle down economic, everybody, one man on every man for himself is bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
We have to work collectively. We have to solve problems that are not going to be resolved with traditional paradigms. How's that?
I think you fairly captured what I wanted to say there. I am just facing a little time pressure now because I have volunteers I have to meet.
We are about to finish right now. So what that means is a profound thank you, not just from me and Mike Zonta, who organized this. Mike's right there hanging in with us. But for our listeners every time, now or after the election, the profound gratitude to each of you, Shahid Buttar and Bianca Krieg. We're here in San Francisco, Congressional District 11, challenging Nancy Pelosi for powerful representation from San Francisco across this country and world, really. Thank you for showing up for a dialogue and a process like this. And not just showing up, but being honest and listening in the same, event. Thank you. So I'm saying thank you. Now, once again, this has been recorded. I host Talk It Out Radio on KPFA, listener-supported KPFA. And that's on Sunday nights from 7 to 8. And I'm going to do my best to edit some of what we've done here so we can share it with the world. This will also be posted through Edwin Rutch's, Culture of Empathy website to demonstrate what's possible here. So right at the end here, I heard a real reverence for what this process can be, but also for, I won't say, I can't swear because this goes on the radio, but this stuff, a lot of it is not working and you each are stepping up. And so I honor you for not just your service, but your courage and your love. You're stepping into a wild time right now as leaders. So I honor both of you, Bianca and Shahid. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
It's been a blast. Let's do it again.
Hey, let's do it again. Let's do it again. I'm celebrating. I am. Come on. In the middle of all this, we have some relationality. And this is between two competing candidates, right? Challenging Nancy Pelosi. What was that, Bianca?
Progressive candidates.
Two progressive and competing candidates, though. And so we just did this. So I'm very grateful. And Mike, I want to hear if you have any final thoughts before we finish up. You pulled this together, so go ahead. You're muted there, Mike. Just.
I'm really thankful, really grateful that Shahid showed up. Really grateful that Bianca showed up, and that you showed up, Timothy. I'm really grateful for what you did. So Bianca says, "Let's do it again." I don't know if I'm up to organizing this again. It's a hell of a job.
Yeah, Mike, I've been talking to who's that guy who runs Manny's on Sunday?
Oh yeah.
He's up for doing this kind of stuff. So if you want to hook up with him, he'll probably take over.
Okay,
well,
great.
I'll look into that.
We want to say goodbye to Shahid. I know you have another meeting, I think. So
thank you again.
Okay, thank you, Shahid.
It's an honor. Really fabulous. Take it easy. Bye-bye.
Peace, everyone.
And Bianca, thanks for hooking Mike up with some support there. Anything else you want to say?
No, I think we need to have more of these. I think it speaks volumes about Pelosi that she couldn't even, show the courtesy of a response to the invitations. I can't stress this enough. The definition of idiocy is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. If you keep voting for Pelosi and expecting a different result, then you're a world-class idiot. Okay, I'm not your cup of tea, vote for Buttar, vote for someone, but don't keep voting for Pelosi and expecting things to change. My God, it's been 37 years. Nobody can name anything that she's accomplished in 37 years. Nobody can name anything she's accomplished.
Yeah. I appreciate your passionate vision for progress, evolution, change, and difference to address the serious crises we're in now. Did I catch that?
Nothing changes until something changes.
Nothing changes until something changes. And in this case, vote for anybody else but Pelosi. I hear you saying. That's what I hear you saying.
Spin the wheel.
Yes. All right. Thank you, Bianca. Really, so fun to meet you this way. I wish I could have seen you on camera, but that's okay. Maybe I'll see you around the city.
Watch me on Glee, or if you look around, there's tons of pictures of me on my IMDb.
Cool. Okay, thanks. And Mike, anything else before we finish up?
No, just thanks again. And maybe we will do this for the general election. I'm not sure how that would work, but we'll try to do it for the general election, I think.
Amazing. All right, good. Okay, I wish you both well. We'll finish things up. Take it easy, okay?
All right, bye, kids.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Thanks, Mike. Take good care. Bye for now. We'll be in touch, Mike. We can debrief.
Okay.